Hey guys, welcome back to the What Comes to Mind series. Today we are on episode 22 talking about detox. Let's get into it. Now, before I go into today's actual topic, I want to stress the point and enlighten the point that I love research. I love studying, I love learning, I love reading papers, books, and summarizing information so you can benefit. And today's episode is a classic example of that. Because oftentimes we get misled with information regarding we need to have this product, we need to have this sort of program in order to do some form of detox. And because I'm not here to sell anything, I'm not here to push a product, I'm here just to provide really useful information in a nice, enjoyable way with some nature, with me talking, that you hopefully benefit. And I hope throughout this video you can take heed in the different elements I talk about that are very simple, predominantly really free, but make a big difference on you detoxing your body before there is a need or even supplementary need of having some sort of product or some sort of program. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. And one last thing, I promise I'm going to start the topic, but I want you to hold me accountable to this, and it's that notion of I genuinely gain more, me personally, by knowing you benefited from the videos in terms of knowledge, whether you comment in the section below or whether you internalize it yourself. Knowing or me not knowing that is more important to me than any monetary benefit I could ever get. And I know I'm just starting the channel in terms of recently with these videos, and if I do develop and I grow, I want you guys to hold me accountable to that, and I will hold myself accountable to that. That notion of I gain more by knowing you benefited from the knowledge that I share, not any monetary benefit that I actually gain. And I want to keep that point as crisp as possible throughout any video that I do. But now, I promise, detox, let's go. So what is detox? Detox is known as the physiological or medicinal removal of a toxic substance from a living organism, more importantly us. And I mentioned 2 points there, physiological and medicinal, because whether we know it or not, our body has so many different forms of detox systems, predominantly our liver, as I mentioned in the episode you can see here, but there are all so many other points that our body uses in terms of stopping toxins from getting in, and also making sure we get rid of toxins that are already in our body. So I'm going to go through them towards the end of the episode. Now, in the health and wellness industry, we hear the term detox quite often through a form of a product or a program. Here's 30 days to try and get detox really quickly. Now, these are quite useful, 100% really useful. However, the issue is it can sometimes be a mask for our poor ability to detox ourselves, strengthening our own body's ability. And I want to use an analogy to help describe this, to help it hit home a lot better. Now, I want you to imagine a vacuum that we have in your house, or what we call a Hoover in the UK. And imagine you have 2 options. You either buy temporary filters, it's really quick and easy, and the Hoover and the vacuum cleaner starts to work really well. Or you spend a little bit of time and you actually clean the vacuum or the Hoover itself, so you can deal with the accumulated dust a lot better. So one is a temporary solution, quite quick, but you have to keep doing it. Another one is a longer term solution and don't have to do it that often, or you can just incorporate it into your daily schedule of using some form of cleaning product, i.e. the Hoover. We have that kind of mentality when it comes to detox. To give you another analogy, imagine when you're cleaning your own bedroom. You can spend half an hour every morning, make sure everything's nice and tidy, or leave it and then every weekend you got to spend a good day trying to clear everything out. We can incorporate many things on a day-to-day basis, and every so often supplement it with some form of cleanse or some form of actual program. Now, the issue what I'm trying to get at is we sometimes just do the latter, where we have these periodic cleanses, but because our daily life is so prone to building up toxins, those clear-outs end up bringing us back to square one, but we then very quickly, within a week or so, build those toxins back up again. So that's why I think it's more of a duality purpose or duality approach, where we have daily things, which I'm going to talk about now, and then supplement them if you want to. It's not a necessity, if you want to, with some sort of actual detox product or some sort of program. But more often than not, when you incorporate the things I'm about to tell you, you minimize the need to actually have those things. Not saying they're bad, but you minimize the need or the necessity to have those actual things. So what are these simple and effective methods to actually detox? Let's get water. Make sure we are drinking enough water throughout the day. It's something that is incredibly overlooked and underrated, because a lot of the mild symptoms that we occur in terms of feeling tired, lethargic, sometimes overeating, feeling too hungry, it's actually due to some form of dehydration. Now, we normally relate dehydration to that really, I'm super thirsty, I'm gasping for some water. but we are normally dehydrated quite a lot even before we get to that stage. So a lot of the minor ailments that we have may be due to some form of dehydration. So why not simply make sure we've ticked that box before we go on to more advanced forms of detoxing? Are we drinking enough water throughout the day? Is that being combated with some form of carbonation, some form of carbonated drink? Let's look into that first before we go into something more. So number one, drink enough water. Number two, which is my all-time favorite, and in my opinion one of the best forms of detox, fasting, also known as intermittent fasting. Now, think of it as a parcel system and a delivery warehouse where you got tons of parcels coming in, which is just like the food that's coming in. And imagine your body is that warehouse. If you've got constant food coming in, you're snacking all the time, the body has to focus on all the stuff that's coming in without actually cleaning and looking after the actual warehouse. If you stop that for a period of time, i.e. fasting, you stop what's coming in so the body can focus on the right, what needs to be cleaned, right, that thing's a bit messed up, let's go sort that out, this needs to be a bit oiled up, and your body starts to look after and clean itself, it starts to detox itself. So give your body a rest from time to time. So I notion this as periodic fasting. So you heard about the 5-2 diet or 24-hour cleanse, which is more of a extreme short-term point of view. I would argue that a good 2 days of fasting per week, whether you do on a Monday or Thursday, whether you do on the weekend, have some gap where you're having your daily food, and then a day comes where for a good 8 hours or 10 hours, a lot more, I would say a good 16 hours, and 16 to 8 is a normal split, where you don't eat anything. Have water if you want, but nothing that's actually going to break your fast. And that is one of the most powerful and effective forms of actually detoxing. And the reason why you don't hear about it a lot is it's free. You have to pay it, you just don't eat. And that's why you don't hear it in industries as much as in some sort of product, because you have to buy them. Fasting is one of the most effective ways of detoxing. And I would advocate a second, and the first one being water. We need good quality H2O, and we need really, really good forms of detoxing in the form of fasting every so often in a week. Now, number three is what you eat. Now, this very simple thing that everybody knows about, but the reason why I want to stress it is naturally a lot of times what we eat is accumulating toxins, not helping us actually get rid of toxins. That's why I do class it as a form of detox, is where we kind of inventory what we normally eat and see how many foods are accumulating toxins, how many foods that we generally eat are actually helping us to remove some forms of toxins. Now, there's a really good audible book that I'm going through at the moment called What to Eat by Joanna Bleisman. It's in the description box below. I would strongly recommend having a look at it, because one of the greatest arguments about eating and food is, some of the best food to eat is the one you cook yourself. So have a look at how many foods do we have that are generally in a packet ready made, and how easy it is to cook something. It's getting over that initial lazy feeling. And when we do, if you genuinely want to detox, if you're genuinely concerned and you're really committed to it, we have to review what we actually eat. And this book by Joanna Bleisman is a really good starter for us to understand what foods can we eat to actually improve the way we detox ourselves. So check that out in the description box below. And number 4 is sleep. Sleep and detox? Does that actually work? Turns out it does, and it's actually really interesting in recent studies. Now, these studies, which I've cited in the description box below, talk about how detox really helps to drain out all the toxins that are actually in our brain. Now, we know about the lymphatic system, that all the lymph nodes are in our body, but there's actually something called the glymphatic system, where certain cells in the brain help to remove toxins that we normally find. Now, one of the papers I've actually talked about in the description box is a study in 2012 by Dr. Nodegard, who actually termed this notion of getting rid of toxins in the brain as an actual house party, where the brain is either entertaining guests and awake, or is either cleaning the house party, cleaning all the waste. So we actually can't do both at the same time. Our brain has kind of two different states. So either we're active and we're learning, we're doing things, we're awake, we're talking, we're running, etc., or we're sleeping and the brain actually is getting rid of those toxins through that something called the glymphatic system. So interesting to see that we have many different brain states and brain levels and frequencies, but it's interesting to see that we're either awake and functioning, or we're asleep and cleaning. And our brain, when we're sleeping, helps to get rid of those toxins in the brain. Now, why do I talk about toxins in the brain? Interesting thing is that, as I mentioned in the previous episode, which you'll see here, which was on the brain itself, is forms of Alzheimer's, form of neurodegenerative diseases can come from accumulated toxins that are in the brain. And that's just because of lack of sleep, but if we do sleep, we can help to increase our ability to detox our brain, not just the rest of our body. Quite interesting, right? So now, why did I actually talk about those 4 main forms of detoxing? What was the genuine real reason behind it? It's because it helps to strengthen our own body's capability of detoxing. So there's certain systems in our body which, if we were able to do those 4 things a lot better, it will strengthen our ability to detox the toxins that are in our body. So what are those actual systems? I want to talk about them right now. 4 major systems. I've used 1, 2, 3, 4 for the other part, so we'll use A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Just we'll use A, B, C, D. It's fine. Right, A is actually the skin. So imagine I'm walking now and I didn't have any skin. Imagine how many toxins my body is actually taking in because I don't have that physical barrier. That's why the skin is actually one of our best and frontline defenses in the fight against actual toxins. You know, sometimes we may be running and walking and we get toxins on our hand, and then we wash them, so they don't actually go straight in because our skin is a really good barrier. Yes, it's semi-permeable, you know, water can go in. Unfortunately, some viruses can go through our skin. Certain chemicals can help to get things into our bloodstream from our skin, but our skin is one of the greatest barriers we have against toxins. So that's A. What about B? What was B? Is our respiratory system. You can see a link over here where I've talked about the lungs if you want some more details. But in terms of fight against toxins, our actual nose hairs are really good at blocking large particles that we inhale before they actually reach our lungs and cause all sorts of infections and inflammation. And even in our mucus, that's in our esophagus, our little kind of pipe over here, it helps to kind of hit particles back up so we can cough it out, as opposed to it going into the lungs and causing more problems. So that's actually funny enough why our nose hairs are really crucial. Obviously we don't want the huge ones, which looks a bit awkward, but the actual nose hairs in there serve a really good purpose, so we don't inhale things that are going to cause serious problems to our lungs. And number 3 is actually our immune system, our immune cells. So we have very generic immune cells and very specialized immune cells that help to defeat toxins that sometimes accumulate through some sort of infection, some sort of inhalation or ingestion. So our immune system is a really complex system, which I've talked about over here as well, that you might enjoy because it's so specialized, and most of my research is actually on immunology, so study of the immune system. But in terms of detoxing, we have a serious, comprehensive system that really fights those toxins that unfortunately enter our body. And you know, when we unfortunately can't use our immune system, when we are immunocompromised, it can serve as all sorts of problems for future infections that we can't deal with. So you want to talk about, you know, really attacking toxins, really detoxifying toxins as well. Our immune system is a key part of that. I just realized that instead of using A, B, C, D, I've used 1, 2, 3, 4 again, but I hope you can still follow this part of the video. And our last one is actually our small intestines. And we actually have lymph nodes in our small intestines that screen out parasites and foreign substances before they actually get absorbed into the bloodstream. And that's essentially another form of detoxing before, you know, the foods that we eat, some of them unfortunately have toxins or infections potentially. And our small intestine does its best to try and get rid of those foreign substances that can be toxins before they go into our bloodstream and then circulate into all the parts of our body to cause actual problems. Now you're probably wondering, wait, what about the liver and the kidney? I've actually done early on in this series actual dedicated videos on the kidney, which you can see here, and then actually on the liver, which you can also see here. So do check them out in terms of in-depth discussion about why those two are really detoxing powerhouses for the actual purposes. And let me know what you think about those videos as well if you can. But moving on towards the conclusion of our video. From what I've discussed there, you can see how simple and effective it is to do some form of detoxing on a day-to-day life through that form of drinking a lot of water, looking at what we eat, sleeping really well so we can detox the things that are in our brain. But then we can supplement them if needed with those forms of medicinal forms of detoxing. But again, as I would argue, if you do those simple things predominantly 3 ways right, we minimize the need for external forms of detoxing and super cleansing. You know, 24-hour water cleanse is great, you just need water, you know. But minimizing the need of those potential products, which have their benefits, but I think, why do I actually need them if I can do these things right? So let me know if you encounter these methods that I've mentioned, see how you get on, and let me know if you feel a lot better. And do check out that book I mentioned about what to eat, which is in the description box. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 23, so take care.